Hey guys, nice to be here for this week's Oxen Labs update. So it's the first one back, obviously, New Year, so Happy New Year to you guys. We have started off a little bit slow because a few people are coming back or are still on holidays. We still have, I think, one desktop developer on holidays who we're hoping to get back mid this week. So things are a little bit slower, and I just came back today. But things are getting off to a good start anyway. On the session team, we are essentially working on some of the same tasks that we were working on at the end of last year. So our closed group work, trying to make closed groups much more stable than they are currently. So we're basically overhauling the entire protocol, which we've been working on for a couple of months now. And then also the disappearing message changes as well that we've been working on really hard. And those changes are ongoing. We're also trying to take a little bit of focus on Android performance as well early this year. So we actually have some of the iOS devs coming over because they did a lot of the work on iOS to get performance up to standard. We're having some of them come over on Android and try and do the same thing there. So that's currently ongoing, and then we also have a bunch of bug tasks as well that we want to improve on both of the platforms. I'm mostly focused on Android and iOS right now. So that's taken up most of our time, and as we get some of those developers coming back as well, hopefully we'll see some releases coming out soon, the first of which will probably be related to user configuration messages, which are a really important part of closed group management, which we need to update before we kind of do the entire closed group change. And there'll be some changes coming to that, which people there'll be some changes coming in closed group or configuration message management, which will be relevant to the rest of the application, which people have been looking for. Stuff like when you read a message or when you read your messages on another device, that's syncing multi-device. So that's one of the ones I know people have been requesting for a long time. That's going to be included in the configuration message update. Yeah, so on the core side, we basically continue to work on Wallet 3. So Sean has taken a few tasks on board. Mainly, he's finished with syncing the blockchain, sending a transaction. There are a few issues there, but they're basically resolved. But now he's working on sub addresses, which are obviously a big feature in the normal wallet, and something that Monero has worked on for a long time. That we want to include into Wallet 3 as well. So he's working on that, the sub address implementation, and that there's some trickiness to that, but he's working through it now. And then on core, we're also hoping to do a mandatory service node upgrade probably within the next few weeks. I think we're yet to announce it yet, but probably we'll announce it in the next few days, hopefully by the time this has come out, or maybe a little bit after the time this has come out. But I think the key dates that we're looking at there are the 26th for the binary release, and then the 9th of February being the enforcement date for all of the service nodes to need to upgrade to those binaries that we release on the 26th. So there should be about a 2-week period for people to upgrade there. And basically those core changes will be coming through mostly on the storage server side. So, and those are mainly changes related to TTL for storage of messages. So upgrading the maximum TTL or allowing the maximum TTL to be more than 30 days, up to 30 days, because currently we're at just 14 days. So being able to store some types of messages for up to 30 days, that's really going to help with some of the configuration message syncing stuff if a device is offline for a really long period of time. And we're also looking to make some changes to how TTLs are shortened or lengthened by other devices. And that's going to help our disappearing message strategy out quite a bit. So that's kind of what's going on in the core world. We've got the Vault 3 stuff and then the mandatory service node upgrade stuff that we're working on. Lokinet, kind of big news. We got a new team member. So he'll be joining Jeff and Jason to continue working on Lokinet. And the big focus in the first few quarters of this year is going to be on liblokinet. So actually getting something that is at the same level of performance, the same level of reliability as our regular Lokinet, but that we can integrate into Session and that makes sense for Session in its model, because the way that we run Lokinet on a PC is very different from the way that we would like to run Session integrated or Lokinet integrated into Session. So there's some tweaks that need to be made for liblokinet to accommodate that situation. So yeah, a lot of work going into refactoring different parts of Lokinet to make that work properly. So yeah, I think that's each individual project. We've got Lokinet, Oxen, Session. So I think we've got a big exciting year coming ahead, and if you have any questions, hit me up on session. I'll send it over to Josh for the marketing stuff. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back, everybody. 2023. This is going to be a huge year for the Oxen project and everything else we've got going on, Session and Lokinet. 2023 is going to be a big one. Now, it's going to be big because we've got like a lot of various parts of this year. We're going to have like different, planes landing that we've been sending up into the air and planning for in 2022. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Josh, that's a lot of CO2 emissions. Airplane fuel, very expensive. Don't worry. I want to clarify, we 100% carbon offset all of our hypothetical planes that we send up into the air. Very important thing to touch on. Anyways, back to business. First thing we did this year that we got straight into was we came back and we did a big, massive team-wide retrospective of all the activities that we did in Q4 to just assess like what are we doing well, what isn't working, what can we do better, what needs to change going into the new year. So as a result of that, like over the coming weeks, you're probably going to be seeing a lot of changes from us, from various aspects. I think pretty much everything that we do is going to change in some way or another. So you're going to be seeing that in the new year, which is pretty exciting. I guess on the other front as well, one thing that we've been doing as a team is and I'm sure you guys have been doing this as well, is we've been playing with AI a lot. We've been messing around with it and basically just seeing how it can improve our workflow as well as just having fun with it in general. So that's something that we really want to try work on, is seeing how we can use AI to make our workflows more efficient, how we can save time. And so that's something that we're going to be doing going forward as well, just exploring the space and seeing how we can make things more efficient, see how we can save time, and we can have a more effective and productive team. Or it just means the death of humanity, but only time will tell. We'll see with AI. So as well as that, we're also continuing to optimize our App Store and Play Store listings for Session. We're still very heavily focused on Germany, but we've recently been having a spike in Italy at the moment. So that's something that we're looking into and exploring why that's the case and seeing how we can push that and seeing what we can do with that. Also, the new Session merch is getting closer to release. If I were to make a prediction, I would say possibly late this month or early next month. I don't know if I'm allowed to predict. Am I allowed to predict?
I think so. We've already teased it.
Oh, well, that's my prediction. It's teased and it's predicted now. That's my prediction. And we've also, in the last week, we also prepped a lot of comms around this mandatory service node upgrade period that's happening pretty soon. I think at the time of me doing this, it's happening now, potentially. So we've got a lot of stuff around there, so there'll be links to that and you'll be able to see what's necessary and needed around that if you're running service nodes. Finally, last but not least, Alex and Kee have been working on updating the Session white paper. Over the course of when we wrote that paper, there's been a lot of technical changes to Session, a whole bunch of technical changes. I actually think Session's wildly different from what we originally wrote in the way that it operates and works. So that's something that they're working on to make sure it's up to date and people get a good sense of what Session is when they go and look at the technical white paper. So that's something that we've been working on as well. And that's essentially it for us in the last week. It's going to be a big year for 2023. Like I said, I'm excited to be in the trenches here with you guys, and together let's make this year the year of the Ox. See you guys next time.